Good morning, love. Good afternoon. Whenever you are joining us, I am so grateful and thankful that you are here. If you hear any noise in the background, that is just my children. They are home. So welcome to this teaching and this experience. It is called Breaking Free. And oh goodness, let me pull up my notes now. I am Sarah Sparks. I am a divine channel through which Spirit speaks. I have dedicated my life to spiritual growth for myself and to positively impact those around me to do the same. I have dedicated my life to your spiritual growth and your connection and seeing that connection in you to divine and yourself. When you do that, that oneness, it is quite remarkable. So today's talk is around breaking free, escaping the self-imposed jail of the mind, stepping through that doorway of trust to live a healed life. I want to make sure that I can see who is coming on. So welcome to those who are coming on live, and welcome to those who also get to watch this on the replay. Good morning, Shara. It's great to have you. If there's questions as we come along, please feel free to comment, and I will keep checking the comments as we move through this. Let's center ourselves like we do each time that we come together for these conversations. Irma, good morning. It's so great to have you here. All right, let's center ourselves. If you have time and space to do so now or whenever you are joining us, our feet are flat on the floor, shoulders up, back, down, elongate the spine. Let out a big sigh if you so choose. We release all anxiety, leaving judgment about ourselves and others at the door. We step into trust. We step into our inner authority. We step into our divine wisdom, our divine power, allowing everything else to wash away us as empaths, those that feel, experience other people and their thoughts. We release all of their stuff. We come into ourselves, into the true essence of who we are, that love, that happiness, that joy, that inner joy. I love you. You are so powerful. You are brave and courageous. You have a gift. I have a gift. You have a gift. We have gifts that we are here to share. Yet we stop ourselves because of those self-imposed jail, that imprisonment in our mind. And that's what we're going to share and talk about today. Good morning to all those who are joining. I'm so happy that you're here. Denise, Susan, Nars, welcome, welcome, welcome. In this talk, we're going to explore how our thoughts, fears, and limitations, our limiting beliefs, create a self-imposed prison. And we're going to break free, or at least we're going to introduce this, in breaking free from the jail cell, the imprisonment in our mind, to step through the doorway of trust. Some questions first, let's begin. If you want to take out a notebook, I always like having one available. I have several sheets of paper that I always have available in case ideas, divine comes through. I want you to be able to be present with me, but also if thoughts are coming through, write them down and explore them later when you have the time and space to do so. The first question that I want to invite you to have an awareness of is, are you aware that you may or may not be in a jail cell, an imprisonment, metaphorically speaking, in your mind? I ask this because I was not aware. What I'm sharing with you has come to me, and this healing has come to me in the last 8 weeks. I share that with you because many of you have been with me with all the teachings that I have shared over the last 12 years of owning Create the Spark. Many of you have worked with me, and you may be thinking, oh, Sarah, you've been healed, you know these things. Or maybe you've seen the unhealed me far far before I had seen it. But I was not aware that I was operating on a day-to-day basis in how I ate, coached, mothered, partnered with my husband, how I functioned from the self-imposed metaphorical imprisonment in my mind. I was not aware. So I'm just asking you, are you even aware? You are where you are, all right? No judgment on my behalf. Susan says all of us are. and I have come across, Susan, some people that are not. So if you are not, totally awesome. Amazing, wonderful. Again, no judgment on where anyone is at. All right. Do you have, another question to have an awareness around is, do you have coping habits that you have been trying with all your might and energy and all your metaphysical tools to heal, to break free from? Do you have habits that you want to heal, to break free from, to stop, to change? So you more than likely have not been as successful as you would like in breaking free from these habits, because there is a need that you are fulfilling by continuing with these habits. I know that this is broad and general. I want it to apply to all of us who want it to be applied to. I will share parts of my personal experience with what I am talking about and how this awareness came about. But for all of us who are joining this, I'm going to use the word habits, and you can have whatever habits you want, all right, to heal in this experience and in this conversation. Okay. So either now or later, I invite you to reflect on what are the habits, and you can ask yourself, what are the habits I am continuing to have and do that I want to change, to shift, to stop? What are the habits that you have? You ask yourself, what are the habits that I have that I'm continuing to have that I want to shift and stop and change? All right? Note them. And then ask yourself, what is the need that I am fulfilling by continuing to do what I am doing? What is the need that you are doing? When I asked myself this, I found that I would overeat to stuff down the emotions of hatred and loneliness. What I realized was that the need I was fulfilling was the need to be free. But I stopped myself and I asked, why was I feeling hatred and loneliness? While you're going through this activity, you may want to ask yourself, why are you feeling the emotions that you're feeling? And maybe you haven't given yourself permission to feel the emotions that you have. If this is a case, I invite you to be truthful and honest with yourself about how you are truly feeling about the habits that you're doing and want to change. So once I asked myself why I was feeling that hatred and loneliness, and I truly I gave myself permission to feel deeply into each of these emotions and ask myself, when did this start? And my earliest memory took me back to a time when someone, based on their own beliefs, limitations, and experiences, so they were having their own experience, their own life, their own fears. And this someone took away my personal freedom. I was very, 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 very young. Took away my personal freedom in an attempt to keep me safe from what they feared. I tell you this because I did not have this awareness. I did not have this awareness, and maybe you are far more aware and advanced than myself. But I did not have this awareness that I even had these feelings or this why. Why was I constantly, after speaking to this person, why would I instantly want to go to Nutella and chips and cheese and crackers and stuff my face until my belly hurt? All of those things, my stomach would hurt. And I knew this. And I took the route of gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, dairy-free, healing my guts. But it's like a wound, right? If you don't actually clean out the wound when it happens, let's say you have a cut and it's exposed and there might be some dirt in it, but if you're not cleaning it out and you just put a Band-Aid over it, the cut may still be infected. But if you're not willing to heal it, yes, the skin and the body self-heals. I get that. Roll with me on this metaphorical description of what I'm going with, all right? If we're not willing to heal the cut and truly look at it, I had put a Band-Aid over it. And I thought with all that I am, that I was doing the work. I was doing the energy work, the cord cutting, the emotional releasing. I was doing all the things, all the tools, because I truly believe that I was doing all the things the divine was telling me to do, but I was not aware that I was inside the jail cell, the self-imposed imprisonment in my mind. So I had built layers and layers of protection. And some of you have seen my body expand and contract, we'll say that, over the years. And some of those layers of protection came in bodily form, expanding out. Other layers came within, with pain around my stomach and things. So these layers of, I had created these layers of protection, layers of protecting myself from feeling the hatred. I was taught that hatred is bad. You cannot hate. Hatred is the devil. It is evil. But it's also an emotion. We must feel it to heal it. I was not willing to feel it. So I also had layers of protection, protecting myself from their pain. Up until the very moment I had not given myself permission to feel the depth of why I was stuffing down the emotions with food. But once I gave myself permission to feel those emotions, I was then able to release those emotions. And in that process, I was able to observe myself standing inside the jail cell, metaphorically speaking. I had placed myself in an imprisonment in my mind. And the jail cell that I was in was built from other people's beliefs, thoughts, limitations, and emotions. You may be experiencing right now while you're watching me, she's getting emotional. And I want you to know what is happening as I am sharing, because this is the first time that I have shared publicly this information. Because I am sharing for the first time outside of the imprisonment. I have worked for most of my life to set myself free and to feel this healed space, and to now know with every cell of my being, every fiber of my being, that I have set myself free is an emotion that I can't even describe. And the amount of the connection to divine is clearer. My mind is clearer. I'm more focused. There's no need to rush through things. For years, I had a stutter. I was afraid to speak up. But outside of this imprisonment, my words, there's a confidence. My words come with peace. And it's such a cool experience. So that's the emotion that's coming up as I am sharing. All right. So the jail cell was not, in my mind's eye, was nicely decorated. It had beautiful flooring. It had a chandelier, a crystal chandelier. There was beautiful gold and wallpaper and these pink hues. So it looked beautiful. It was very comforting. So I was afraid of what it would be like, what life would be like. How would I interact? What if I no longer talked about this person or had this experience? What would I share? How would I coach people? What would my business look like? How could I show up as the mom I've always wanted to be and the wife I've always wanted to be? And how could I be the divine clearest channel without being in here, if this is all that I know? But I wanted it so badly. I had dedicated my life over 12 years ago when I started this business to being the clearest, most divine channel so God can work through me for each and every single person that I get to be with and positively impact. And I think many of you do too. Many of you on here have a spiritual business in some way, or aspire to have one, coaching business, mentoring business, or some sort of entrepreneurship where you are positively impacting those around you. Yet I can say from my own personal experience that it's quite difficult to positively impact millions of people when I was finding myself unable to break free. So where are you? Are you inside or outside the jail cell? The metaphorical imprisonment in your mind. Where are you standing? The awareness of where I was standing brought me to another awareness. And that awareness was that the doorway to my emotional, energetic, and personal freedom was open. Now, sometimes when we think about a jail cell, we think of it as a typical jail cell, that the metal bars are, it's locked, there's a key. Someone outside of the jail cell has the key, and they are the owner, the guard, and we're waiting for them to give us. Someone on here is going to be transformed by this. And you're waiting for that guard to unlock it. But the awareness that I had while standing inside the imprisonment was that I was holding the key to my personal freedom all along. Does anyone want to know what that key is? That key is forgiveness. Forgiveness equals freedom. Long ago, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, I wanted my ex-husband to forgive me for leaving and for ruining his life. So I called him. And I wanted him so badly to forgive me. When he answered the phone, he said, "Hello, who is this?" I had forgotten that I was calling him from my new number. I had moved from Iowa to the Clearwater, Florida area, and I had gotten a Clearwater number. So he didn't know who was calling. And when he said, "Hello, who is this?" in that moment, I realized it wasn't about him forgiving me. It was I who had to forgive myself. Now, you may be thinking, did she have to forgive herself for leaving him? For ruining his life? No, it was deeper than that. I had to forgive myself for abandoning myself and my soul for the love of another. And in that forgiveness, I had to forgive myself for forgetting that I was divine, for forgetting that I was a soul. I had to forgive myself that I had forgotten who I truly was. And in that forgiveness, I had to say, "I'm sorry." It's a Ho'oponopono prayer. And then I had to go in depth and say, "Thank you. Thank you, Divine, for forgiving me. Thank you to all parts of myself for being present and aware. And I love you." And I will have to tell you that all didn't happen overnight and in that moment and in that phone call. It took me a process of 9 months. Processing for me and healing for me usually takes about 9 months, I have noticed. And in the last 9 months, there has been another divorce of my life. Divine had asked me to divorce my life. Now, not divorce my husband or I did get divorced from my ex-husband, in case you all are like, I'm now confused. But I not divorced from Craig. Divine wasn't asking me to do that. Divine was asking me almost a year ago to divorce my life, the way that I do things. And that divorce, in translation it translates into forgiveness. Forgiving the hate the loneliness, the sadness, and truly healing. Divine asked me to take on a new identity, and that new identity is healed. In all caps, healed. So stepping through the doorway from the jail cell to freedom has given me permission to live a healed life. Now, instead of making decisions, before I go into that, I have to say, when that new identity was revealed to me, and it was like a lightning bolt of fire was written on the ceiling, and it said, new identity, capital N-E-W, capital I, identity, whatever, colon, in all caps, healed. And it was written like it's a stone tablet. And as soon as Divine said, healed, it's like, wow. So that's what's been going on. I did not have that awareness. And then it flashed before me all the areas of my life that I operated from an unhealed space. So take note, have an awareness, notice. There's 3 stages of growth: awareness, understanding, and knowing. And have an awareness, first step, for spiritual growth. Have an awareness of the various areas of your life, your habits. Some are coming from a healed space. Some are coming from an unhealed space. Make note of that. Have an awareness around it. So now, instead of making decisions and operating from an unconscious, unknowing space of hatred, shame, loneliness, I've stepped through the doorway of that, of trust, divine trust, trusted myself, and I have freed myself to live in a healthy alignment with love, prosperity, and happiness. I'll repeat that again for those who want to claim it for themselves. I have freed myself to live a healthy alignment, or aligned, to live in a healthy alignment with love, prosperity, and happiness. I have reclaimed my power. Is that something that you need to do? Have you given over your power to someone or something else and you need to reclaim it? So I have reclaimed my power. I'm not giving the guard the power. I had the key all along. And I have made the decision to no longer be available to feeling used and disrespected by myself or another. And in doing so, I decided to live a healed life. Breathe with me. I know this is vulnerable. I know this is heavy. I get it. Divine asked me to share all of this with you during the Talk with Spirit Tuesdays when I was channeling. Divine says it's time. It's time to share with them, to each and every single one of you. There's parts of you that you want to break free. There's habits. So, breaking free, escaping, stepping out of intentionally from that self-imposed jail of your mind, stepping through the doorway of trust to live a healed life. And I want to invite you to partner with me, one-on-one, to break free and live a healed life of freedom. We'll uncover practical steps to build trust. Do you hear my children screaming? sisterly love will uncover practical steps to build trust in ourselves and others, enabling us to step through the doorway of trust and embrace a life of healing and freedom so you can and you may positively impact those around you to do the same. If that invitation feels good and right, feel free to DM me and say, hey, I want to have a further conversation about that. Let's explore what that looks like to work and partner one-on-one with you, Sarah. So feel free to DM me and we'll have that conversation if that is what you are being called to. Enjoy this exercise and this activity as you are moving through this first step of awareness of where you are at. So much love to you. And Helen says, a joyful noise, Mom. I know. That means that they're alive and they're here, and it is. It is. And Susan says, so many parallels with my own journey. Thank you. You're so welcome. So much love to each and every single one of you. If this resonated with you, let me know. If you know somebody who would enjoy and be positively impacted by this conversation, feel free to share it as well. So much love.